Hello again, session number 9. I hope you've really been enjoying this fantastic weather that we've had this week. Getting out into the sunshine and pedalling or golfing or walking or running, but getting lots and lots of exercise. Don't forget to do lots of stretching. Anyway, let's get going with session number 9. Start off, of course, with a posture check. Back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels. Up against the imaginary wall, tailbone pointing down, pressing tummy button to the backbone, pulling up into the rib cage, and you can feel your pelvic floor lift. Open up the hips, buttocks engaging, knees rolling out slightly, and lifting up the arch of the foot, encouraging the arch of the foot, spreading out the toes. And of course, Pilates, breathing full and wide into the ribs without interfering with you. Zip up and hollow, pulling up and pulling in. And then just start with your toes. Just start by lifting up the toes and then spreading them out and putting them down. Just lifting the toes up and spreading them out and then putting them down. Think about just lifting up the toes and then putting down the little one, the next one, the next one, the next one, and then the big toes. Lifting the toes up, so more weight into the heels, and then little toe, next one, next one, next one, and the big toes. Spreading out the toes to lift, and then little one, next one, next one, next one, and the big toes go down. Now see if you can just scrunch the toes in and then stretch the toes out. Then you're encouraging the arch of the foot as you scrunch in and then spreading the toes out. It's a little bit uncomfortable and stretching the toes out. Lifting the arch of the foot, and you'll feel your buttocks engage as well. So just squeezing in the toes, arch of the foot lifts, spreading out. And then one more time, just squeeze it in and stretch out. And then from there, keeping the toes spread, rock forward into the balls of the feet and then gently into the heels. Spreading out the toes, go into the balls of the feet, maybe as you exhale and inhale to rock back. Then lifting the arms up, lift the heels up and down. Lifting the heels up that little bit higher with each one and floating down. Reaching the arms forward, but keeping the shoulders themselves down, working into those calf muscles. And switching on those core muscles a little bit more, lifting up, hold it there, and then lean back as if you're trying to lean into that imaginary wall behind. And then lengthen up and float down. Lifting all the way up onto the balls of the feet, hold to breathe in and breathing out, keep the shoulders down and just bend back, balance. Lengthening up again and floating down. Challenging your balance, leaning back, keeping the chin down over the peach, just go as far back as you can, keep those knees relaxed, lengthen up and float down. Reaching forward, keeping the heels up if you can, and just lean it back. And then down. And then one more time. Lifting up, keeping those toes spread, help to spread the load. Do the lean back, shoulders down, chin down. And then lengthen back up. And take it into a little squat, taking the hips back and down, pushing up. Knees going straight forward over the toes, taking the weight right back into the heels. All the way back and pushing up. Then adding on to that, do that little squat and then lift one knee up and balance. Replace the foot, squat, lift the other knee up and balance. Reaching forward as you do the squat. Lifting the knee up to hip height. If that's too much for the balance, you can of course just lift the heel, stay on the ball of the foot. You can decide which level. Keeping that chest up, try not to lean forward. Pushing the arms back a little bit as you come up. And then just hold that there. And this time squeeze the leg back. And bring it back into alignment. Just squeeze it back and into alignment. Load bearing for that standing leg. Strengthening the ankle. A couple more. Feel that buttock engage. And relax and change legs. Just lift the foot, bend the knee, squeeze back. Keeping that chest lifted, feel that buttock engage. Exhale to squeeze back. And I should say, if it's too much with the foot off the floor, just leave the foot down with the toes on the floor and squeeze back. And then maybe 2 more. And then just relax and bring that foot down. Then this time lifting the right knee up if you can, left arm forward, and join the 2 together. Swing forward and back. Again, if that's too much, you can just leave the toes on the floor and swing the arms forward and back. But if you can, foot off the floor, load bearing flat, standing leg. Hip flexor working, buttock working, and then when you've completed this one, just replace the foot to the floor and change sides. Remember, you can always leave your toes on the floor if it's too much. Otherwise, you lift the knee and you swing. Try not to lean forward, keep the chest lifted. Just pushing the foot back into the wall behind you. Try not to lean forward or back, or even side to side. And again, just put the foot on the floor if it gets to be too much for the balance. And perhaps 2 more. Squeeze back, feel that buttock engage. And then bring it back to the start position. Replace the foot to the floor. And taking the legs out nice and wide. Turn out the knees, turn out the toes. And do a big lunge, side to side. And then adding some arms. Just circle the arms around. Increasing that range of movement through the shoulders, warming up the hips and the knees. And keeping that chest lifted, keeping the shoulders down, the peach underneath the chin, between the chin and the chest. Maybe exhale over, inhale back. And then when you've done approximately equal numbers on both sides, coming back to that start position. And just walk the feet back in. Back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels up against that imaginary wall. And from here, pushing up onto the balls of the feet. Balance and float down. Lifting up, hold. Lean back. Feel those calf muscles work again. Lengthen up, float down. Pushing up, do that lean back, keep the chin down, just exactly as we did at the beginning. Nice and smooth, and then see if you can add on to that. See if you can hold that there, keep the heels off the floor, drop the head, drop the arms, relax those knees, keeping the heels off the floor, there's a lot of wobbling going on here, and then just gently head down. Do the roll down. If you can, keep the heels off the floor, and slowly, slowly, slowly come up. Shoulders back and down. So you just lift the heels, balance, do a lean back, still balancing, lengthen up, drop the head, keep the heels off the floor, and slowly, slowly head down. Drop the head, just go as far as you can, keep the heels off the floor, feel those calf muscles work, and then slowly come up, link by link, bone by bone, heels back onto the floor. Maybe one more time, pushing up and balance. Do that lean back, looking forward. Bring it back up into alignment. Drop the chin, drop the arms. Relax those knees so they're not locked. You can always put the heels down at any point. You just go down as far as you can. Let the breathing flow. Keep the toes spread. Dropping down. Drop the head. And then slowly, slowly come up. You can see there's wobbling going on here. This is hard work. And heels coming down. And then take a big step back and press that heel, right heel down into the floor. Shoulders back and down. Make sure that front knee doesn't go any further forward than the toes. Then lifting that right arm up, follow the hand with the eye. Take the arm all the way back. Turn the head, look along the arm. Keeping everything else stable, just lift the arm up, press that heel right back, get a good stretch through the calf. Opening the chest, but keeping the hips pointing forward. And then changing legs. You can always have the feet apart to help with the balance. Bending the front knee. Keeping the chest up, lift that left arm up, turn the head, follow the hand with the eye. And then you're getting flexibility into the neck as well as the shoulder. Keep the hips pointing forward, the chest pointing forward. And then just bring the arm back down. Bring the feet back into alignment. And then lengthen, lengthen up again. Tailbone down with that zip up and hollow. And this time starting at the front of your mat. Take a moment to set up the posture and then slide the left foot back behind you with the heel just off the floor. And think about having that piece of string through the centre of your head, pulling you up towards the ceiling. And then lift that right heel off the floor as well. Balancing on the balls of the feet and bending the knees. Take it down till the fingertips touch the floor. Then slide your right foot out in front of you. Put the hands behind you and lower yourself with control onto the mat. Now you can see you've got to have really good knees for this. So if it's not comfortable for you, just go to the back of your mat and then do the roll down, walk out onto the hands and knees, and then swing round into a sitting position. And sitting up nice and tall with the legs straight or bent or crossed, however's comfortable, but sit up nice and tall. You might want to pop a cushion underneath your bottom if you find your hamstrings are too tight. Just prop yourself up a little bit. And then roll those shoulders around. Ease out those shoulders. Get those shoulders moving a little bit. Sliding the shoulder blades down your back. Maybe one circle on an in-breath, one circle on an out-breath. Keeping the back up nice and tall. And then slide the shoulder blades down. Backs of the hands onto the forehead. Keep the peach underneath the chin. Everything below the waist stays still. Nose in line with the sternum, and just exhale and twist to the right side. Inhale to bring it back. Exhale to twist. And inhale to bring it back. Keeping the shoulders down, nothing moving below the waist. Those natural corset muscles working around your middle. And the transversus abdominis muscle, 3 fingers below your tummy button working to keep that pelvis still. Remember, you can always have the hands in prayer position if it's not comfortable with the arms up. Those shoulders don't like that position. If you can, just do an exhale to twist. Inhale to bring it back with the backs of the hands onto the forehead. And maybe one more time. See if you can go that little bit further. Extra big twist. And then bring it back to the start position. And bring the arms back down. Shoulders down. Keep the length through the neck. And if you just want to come into a sitting position with the knees up, feet flat on the floor. Slide shoulder blades down your back, lengthen up through that piece of string through the centre of your head. And keeping the shoulders back and down, or into it between the knees, so the shoulders, hips, knees and ankles are aligned. Feet rooted into the floor, and then holding on behind the thighs to start with a nice and easy pelvic tilt. Bring the hip bones into the bottom of the rib cage as you inhale, and exhale to extend. Nice straight back. Getting flexibility into your spine, scooping out the tummy. So starting off on the pointy bones of your bottom and then tilting the pointy bones forward, keeping the shoulders down, making sure the shoulders don't creep up around the ears. Just a tilt and then a nice straight back. Then if you want to, adding on to that, engaging those tummy muscles, tilt and roll back. So you go back onto the flatter back of your pelvis. Hold it there to breathe in briefly and breathing out, pull back up. Nice straight back. Articulating your spine, getting lots of flexibility into your spine. Making sure the shoulders stay down all the time and don't creep up around the ears. So it's breathing in to tilt, breathing out to roll back. And then gently up, really working those tummy muscles. And then if you want to, you could leave go with the hands and just tilt and roll back, keeping the shoulders down. Hold it there and then gently pull back up and straighten. Keep the feet rooted into the floor and then rolling back. If that's enough for you, you can stay with that, but of course you can go back to holding on behind the thighs. Maybe you could add some legs in. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out to roll back and extend the legs. Hold to breathe in and breathing out. Keep the C shape and straighten. Of course, if that's too much, you don't need to do that. But because you're adding in the legs, you might be able to go down that little bit further with each one. Maybe go down and crush the grape. And come back up. Remember that little grape in the small of your back. Creating a C curve, extending the legs. And with the pull it in with the legs, that's going to help you up. Now, if you want to work harder, you can first of all hover the feet off the floor. Maybe leave the hands behind the thighs and then extend the legs and pull back up. It's quite challenging to balance, but you can still leave your hands behind your thighs if you want to. Keep looking forward, and then if you can, you leave go with the arms and you extend the legs and pull back up. You've really got to work those tummy muscles to balance. Just extend, maybe go down as far as you can and pull back up. Have a little experiment and see how far you can go. Legs higher up, easier. Legs lower down, harder. So you decide how many you want to do and which level. Really slow and with control. And then when you've done enough, whichever level you want to do, replace the feet, hug the knees into the chest, drop the head over the knees. Get a good stretch through the back. Hugging in. And extending the legs. Reaching forward, do that lovely controlled roll back onto the mat, link by link. Remember, you can always hold on behind the thighs, or you could roll over onto your side even, and then roll over onto your back, and then take the arms over the top of your head. Stretch through from the tips of your fingers to your toes. Keep the rib cage lifted this time. Lifting away from the hips, lengthening through the legs. So you're stretching those hip flexors that you've worked, as well as the tummy. And then from there, gently please roll over onto your right side. And just take a moment to set that up. Letting the head rest, nice and relaxed. Bending the knees just to the front of the mat. Try and have the waist lifted a little bit off that hot stone so you're engaged around the middle. Keeping the foot on top of the foot. Maybe put that left hand in front of you. And then just turn the knee up towards the ceiling as you exhale and inhale to lower it down. Just rotating from the hip. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Keep the head down, the neck relaxed. If you find your shoulder starts to creep up, you could always put the hand behind you, rested in the lower back, and that would help to keep the shoulder back and down. And then on the next one, hold it up and extend and bend the leg. Just extend and bend. Keeping the thigh directly above the thigh, the knee above the knee, and just straighten and bend. Then you're working that quadricep muscle on the front of the thigh. And then on the next one, just hold it there and then draw some little circles in the air. Maybe one circle on an in-breath, one circle on an out-breath. Hold and make it go the other way. Feeling that outside hip and thigh working, but of course keeping the cup of tea still on the outside of your hip. And then probably about 5 in each direction there. Hold, replace the leg down, and bending the knees a little bit more up in front of you, just in front of the hips, and then have the shins parallel to the edge of the mat. So you've got a 90-degree angle at the hip and the knee. Then lift and lower that top leg. Exhale, lift, inhale to lower. Again, outside hip and thigh working, keeping the waist lifted. Again, we're probably doing about 5. And then I think that might be about 5. Hold it there, extend the leg, and bend, and extend, and bend. Feeling that outside hip and thigh working now. And then approximately again the 5. Hold it there, and then lower and lift. Lower and lift,
Getting a bit horrible now. And then just one more. And relax. Bend the knee. Give the outside of the hip a little rub and a smack. And just pop that top knee on the floor in front of you. Still rubbing and smacking if you need to. Extend the bottom leg. Keep that waist lifted a little bit still. Keep that gap underneath. And then flex that bottom foot, isolating that inner thigh. And then lift and lower. Push the heel away from you to keep the leg nice and straight. Then you get a bit of a stretch through your calf and your hamstring as well. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Just let that top leg relax. And then holding the leg up. And then lift and lower. Halfway down, lift and lower. Feeling that inner thigh work. Keep lengthening through the leg. Nice and smooth, just halfway down. And then hold it up and then draw some little circles with that bottom leg. Try to keep the top shoulder away from the ear. Again, maybe one circle on an in-breath, one circle on an out-breath. Making sure you take the leg behind yourself as well as in front, and that buttock will work. Hold and then make the circle go the other way. Inner thigh working, buttock working, a little bit of hip flexor, and of course the transversus abdominis working to keep your pelvis absolutely stable. And then when you think you've done approximately equal numbers in both directions, just relax back down. And then just lengthening through both of the legs. Roll gently over on to your front. And putting your right hand underneath your forehead. Extend the left arm out in front of you. Lengthen through the legs, tummy button pulled up, up, up. Slide those shoulder blades down your back. Just let the forehead rest down on the back of the hand. Keep the shoulders down. And then exhale to lift and inhale to lower. Just lifting the upper body. Keep the eyes focused on the back of the hand. Keeping the peach underneath the chin, between the chin and the chest. Then the ears will point forward. Plank of wood on the back of the head. And then see if you can leave the hand glued onto the forehead. And lift the arm as well. A little bit harder work for your back. If that's too much, of course, you leave the arm on the floor. And then lift the left leg. Exhale, lift, inhale to lower. Just lifting and lowering. Nice and smooth. Working across the back and into the buttock. Supporting the head with the back of the hand. I have no idea how many I've done there, so let's swap and go to the other side. Maybe just do a couple with the arm on the floor to start with, engaging your back rather than the neck. Keep that tummy button pulled up and in. Then when you're ready, add the arm. Exhale up, inhale back down. Keep sliding those shoulder blades down your back. Feel the back work. Try not to allow the pelvis to rock. Keep that cup of tea on the back of the pelvis. When you're ready, add that right leg in. Again, you try not to move the pelvis. Think about lengthening through the leg. And make sure you're not engaging your neck. Lifting with your back and of course your buttock. Getting flexibility into your spine. Lengthening through. Nice and smooth. Just exhale on the up, inhale down. Then when you think you've done approximately equal numbers on both sides, swap the arms over again. And then this time, lifting the head, the shoulders and the opposite leg. And then what about lifting the arm up as well? Now you might find that's too much. If so, you just leave the arm on the floor. You decide which level. You can always leave both arms on the floor, working into the back. And again, when you've had enough on that side, swap and go again to the other side. You decide which level you're going for. And then lifting head and shoulders, arm and leg if you can. Nice and smooth. Just do as many as you find you can manage. Reaching forward with the fingertips, but not allowing the shoulders to creep up. Lengthening through the leg, lengthen through the other leg to help to keep the hip glued right down. Then when you think you've done approximately equal numbers on both sides, just relax back down. And then let's have a little stretch, come up onto the hands and knees. Arch the back, drop the head, pull the tummy button up and in. Tucking that pelvis under, drop the head right down. Push the hips towards the head, really arch the back right up. Remember, you can always come up onto your knuckles if you need to. Then we've had a little stretch there. Scoot all the way back, out onto your front again. Take the forehead down, onto the back of that right hand, lengthen through the left arm. And exactly the same thing, but if you can, a little add on. So you would do exhale to lift, inhale, hold. Exhale, bend to your right side. Inhale, bring it back and gently go down. If that's too much, leave that left arm on the floor and then lift and bend. So you can lift the leg if you can. If not, of course, you can leave the leg down. Adding in a bit of waist whittling into that. Stretching down one side and contracting the other. Exhale, lift, inhale, hold, exhale, bend, inhale, back, and gently down. Maybe one more on that side, or you can do more. Try to keep the hip down on that left side. Then we've done enough on that one side, swap to the other. Lengthen through those legs. Keep the tummy button pulled up and in. And then lift and hold. And then do the bend and bring it back and gently down. Leave the arm down. You can leave the leg down if you need to. But if you're lifting the arm up, try and keep the arm by the ear and the ear by the arm. Maybe two more. Or, again, you do as many as you find you can manage. Lift and hold, bend it down, gently back, and release. And coming up onto the hands and knees, have a good stretch through your back. Maybe up onto the knuckles if you want to. Tuck the pelvis under, arch the back up, drop the head right down. Push the hips towards the head, get a really good stretch. Press down through the arms. And then because you work the lower back, the buttocks as well, sinking back onto the heels. Let the forehead rest down. Or of course you could take the hands behind you, palms up. Stretching back, opening the knees a little bit. Get those hips back further. Or you could sit on your bottom, swing your legs round in front of you, reach over the beach ball for your toes. Or sit and hug the knees into the chest and drop the head over the knees. You decide. So if this sitting back is going to hurt the knees, you do one of the other ones. And then just relax, coming up into a sitting position. And let's swing the legs round in front of you. You haven't already got your legs swung round in front of you. And then reaching forward, tilt the pelvis, whichever way is best for you, with grace, elegance and control. Just take yourself down onto your back, and then we'll need to roll over onto the left side. Take a moment to set that up. And then taking the arm back, so you've got a nice straight line from the fingertips to the back of the head to the shoulder blades, buttocks and heels. And bend the knees forward just towards the front of the mat. Trying to keep the waist lifted a little bit. So you've got a little bit of a gap between the waist and the floor. And maybe just rest that right hand in front of you, or you can put the right hand behind and open the chest and pull the shoulder back and down. And then leaving the foot on top of the foot, exhale to open and inhale to close. Turning the knee back as far as you can, but without allowing the hips to move. Keep that top hip rolled forward. Keep that cavity on the outside of that hip. Open and close. And then just lift the leg up and keep it hip height and unbend and bend. So you would keep the thigh directly over the thigh and the knee over the knee, working that quadricep muscle and of course your knee joint. And then just hold that there and then start to draw some circles in the air. Nice and smooth. We're trying to go for 5 of each one here, but of course you can always do more if you feel you can. I think that might be 4, not entirely sure. And then swap and go the other way. Maybe 1 circle on an in-breath, 1 circle on an out-breath, keeping everything else as stable as you can while you do this. And then beginning to feel that on that outside hip and thigh, just relax the leg back down. And then bring the knees straight forward in front of the hips, so the shins are parallel to the edge of the mat. Starting to keep that waist lifted just a little bit, the neck relaxed. And then exhale up and inhale down. So this time lifting the foot level with the knee. Trying to, of course, keep your torso as stable as you can while you do this. And then hold that up and then extend and bend. Extend and bend. Trying to keep the thigh as stable as you can while you do this. I think 1 more probably makes 5. Hold and then lower and lift. Lower and lift. Really getting quite hard now, that outside hip and thigh. And maybe 2 more. And then just relax back down. And you'll need to give that outside hip and thigh a bit of a rub and a smack. Just get rid of the burn that's going on in there. And putting that top knee on the floor in front of you, letting it rest. That's done a lot of hard work now, so let it rest. And still keep giving that outside hip and thigh a bit of a rub and a smack till you get pretty burn. And extending that bottom leg, flex the foot, and then lift and lower that bottom leg, pushing the heel away from you, lengthening through the leg. Maybe do a little bit more than 5 with this one. Try and keep your neck relaxed. Keep the heel pushed away from you. Get some stretch through the calf and a little bit of hamstring. And then just hold that leg up and then lift it a little higher, lower it halfway. Lift higher, halfway. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Pushing that heel away from you. So holding that leg up off the floor all the time. Make that inner thigh work. And then we'll go with some circling, just circling the leg around. Again, this is getting a little bit more challenging, so possibly just the 5. But of course you can do more. And then when you've done approximately 5, you swap and make that circle go the other way. Getting flexibility into the hip, inner thigh. Working, a little bit of buttock, a little bit of hip flexor. Do we think that's about 5? Probably. So just relax back down. And then gently, please, roll over onto your back.
And then just doing some lovely stretching. Bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees flop apart. Stretch those inner thighs. Allow the weight of your legs just to ease the knees towards the floor. Stretching those inner thighs. Maybe slide the heels a little bit closer in towards your body. And again, just let the weight of your legs do the work. Relax into that stretch. Hold and stretch. Keep the neck and shoulders relaxed. And then bring the legs back up. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. And feel a bit of a stretch to the outside of the hip and thigh there. If you're not getting much of a stretch, try lifting the left heel, balancing the ball of the foot. Or you could just lift the foot off the floor, bringing that leg in that little bit further. Or you could hold on behind that left thigh and hug the legs into the chest. Holding that there, get a good stretch. If you want to, you could take the arms out, crucifix position, and then roll those legs over to the left side and try and get that right foot onto the floor. Relax into the stretch. Keep the shoulder blades glued right down. Keep the palms down, that will help with that. And then turn the head and look along that right arm. Hold and stretch. Get a stretch around your middle and your neck, as well as the outside of the hip and thigh. Then heaving the legs back up. Replace the feet or foot and change legs. And again from here, you can lift your right heel, you can lift the right foot, you can hold on behind that right thigh and hug the legs in. Just ease the legs in towards the chest. And if you want to increase that intensity and add in the middle stretch, take the legs over to your right side and turn the head and look along that left arm. If that's too much, of course, you just keep the legs up in the air. Hold and stretch. Just relax into that stretch, encouraging flexibility into the neck, around your middle and your hips. And then heaving those legs back up again, replacing the foot to the floor. And then just stretch the legs out, take the arms over the top of your head and give yourself a full body stretch from the tips of your fingers to your toes. Lengthen through the legs. Then crossing your right ankle over your left ankle. Take hold of your right wrist and do a big bend to the left side. Remember, if that is not comfortable, you can always leave the arms down by your side and slide that left hand down the seam of your trouser leg instead, if the shoulders don't like that. Get a good stretch down the side, lengthening down one side, contracting the other. And then release and swap to the other side. Remember, you can slide your hand down the seam of the trouser leg, keep the head and shoulders down, or you can take the arms over the top of your head, give a little tug on that left wrist and bend to the right side. Keep that left hip down, you're not twisting the hips at all. Just that bend, rib cage to hip. And then release, bring the arms back down by your side, and then gently rolling over onto your front. Taking the forehead down onto the back of the right hand, reach behind with the left hand for that left foot. Bring the heel into the bottom, press the hip into the floor, stretch the front of the thigh. Remember, if you can't get hold of the foot or even the sock or the trouser leg, then you could cross the other ankle over and just ease the leg in. Pressing the hip down, maybe lifting the head up. Keep the eyes focused on the back of the hand though, so you don't engage your neck. Pressing that hip down, get a good stretch in the hip flexor and the front of the thigh. And then when you're ready, change to the other side. Keep the knees together, press the hip down, and if you want to, you can lift the head and the shoulders. Make sure you're not engaging your neck. Keep the peach underneath the chin, pressing that hip down, make a really good stretch in those hip flexors. And the quadricep muscle. Then replacing the foot to the floor, coming up onto the hands and knees, then just arch the back, drop the head, pull the tummy button up and in, and stretch from the back of your neck to your tail.
Then you can always come up onto your knuckles. If that's more comfortable, tuck that pelvis under. And if you are not comfortable, you can always sit on your bottom, swing your legs round in front of you, put a beach ball on your lap, reach over the beach ball for your toes and create the arch that way. And then if you're okay with it, sit back onto the heels and then let the forehead rest down. Reaching the arms behind you, or you can leave the arms in front, whichever works better for you. You can also open the knees a little bit, get those hips back further, but try not to lift the hips up. If there's a gap between the forehead and the floor, just make a fist, put your head on the fist. If there's still a gap, put the other fist on top of it. Try not to lift the hips up to get the head down, otherwise you lose the stretch in the lower back and the buttocks, sinking right back. Get a really good stretch there. And coming up, when you've had a good stretch there, coming up onto the hands and knees, and then walking the hands into the knees. Tuck the toes under, hover the knees, push the hips up into the air, walk the hands into the toes with the head down, the knees slightly bent, engage the tummy, and slowly come up. Keep the arms close into the legs, and slowly come up. Link by link, bone by bone, right back up against that imaginary wall. Open the chest, shoulders back and down. Dropping the right ear down into the shoulder while you slide the left hand down the seam of the trouser leg. Hold that there. Stretch neck, stretch shoulder. Try and keep the weight even between the feet. Turning the head, looking down at that right shoulder. Try not to move anything else at all. Keeping the chest and the hips pointing forward. Then turn the head and look up and behind into the left corner, as far back and up as you can, without twisting the body at all. Getting flexibility into the neck. And gently drop the chin all the way down into the chest. Slide those shoulder blades down your back, shoulders away from the ears. Lengthening through the neck. Hold that there. And then just lifting the head up. Drop the left ear while the right hand slides down. Hold, stretch neck, stretch shoulder. And then turn the head and look down at that left shoulder. Holding that there. Keep the shoulders back and down. Turn the head and look up and behind into the right corner, as far back and up as you can. Then just gently drop the chin all the way down into the chest. Lifting the head and then release those shoulders. Just get those shoulders moving forward, up, round and back and down. Big, big, big shoulder roll. And then from there, take the feet just a little bit apart, bend the knees slightly and let the arms dangle and do a little twist. Side to side. Maybe turn the head, turn the hips, and just gently loosen up. And there we are, session number 9. So give yourselves a clap, well done. And number 10 will be coming shortly. And I hope you're still doing them. And stay well and keep at it. Well done.